Today I'm going to do another review. The review of The Richest Man in Babylon. It is not quite the story anyone would tell you, because it is quite old. But it is a classic in a way. So The Richest Man in Babylon, if you don't know, is a series of fables. They started out as pamphlets by this guy in the 1920s, which covers wealth building fundamentals. An example of this is just save 10% of your not profits, your income, and try to live off the rest, the 90%. I'm sure everyone can pretty much do this unless you're literally scraping by. But unless you've made incredibly bad financial decisions, you should not have problems like this. Another example of a fundamental is try to get rid of debt as much as you can, because the average person is not using debt as a lever. They are using it as a crutch for addictions, to name one, a lifestyle they want but can't afford, amongst other things. Sadly, the text is difficult to parse sometimes because of an old-timey format to indicate that we are covering Babylon's time. So what I mean by that is they use words like thus or thusly. Another example would be hast been unlucky at the gaming table. See what I mean? And the thee is with two e's. You can pass through it, but it does take some getting used to if you've not read a book that covers this quite a lot. Which, before reading this, I didn't really read old-timey books with old-timey use of language like this. So it threw me for a ringer a little bit, but I did enjoy reading the book, and it was thrilling to say the least. Yeah, the parables were quite a fun read because the lessons are really well intertwined with the plot. We go through this whole tirade of a man running away from slavery and not letting it define him, to name one plot point. I think that was the most engaging for me personally. Very inspiring type of thing. And then he becomes a trader. He does not have a slave soul, he has a trader soul. Stuff like that. Yeah, this book does have slavery, to name a few things, and it does not feature a lot of female characters. I think that was covered by the intro, like trying to help adapt this to modern audiences. Fair. That is a fair point to make on this book. There's not a lot of diversity, but to be fair, in Babylon there really wasn't a lot of diversity. It was just a product of the times, and the the person who introduces us to this book in the introduction does mention that if for your sake you need a female character instead of a male one in some of the characters, you can just pretend that they were women. The book is even older than you would think. Came from the early 1920s, when were a series of pamphlets trying to spread the message of wealth growth tactics. And that, I think, it was a very positive movement because I think everyone should grow their wealth, because it leads to just better decisions, better run businesses, better quality of life for everyone, cheaper goods, better services. I can keep going on, but I don't want to waste a whole day listing things like that. I think pretty much anyone can follow these fundamentals. So that's why I think I would, if I had the money, I would buy copies for all of my friends that have patience in terms of the hard to pass language. So I could think of one friend that I wouldn't get it for, but that's just because problems with focus, let's just say. It is useful to any layman with a job or a source of income. So it's pretty much applicable to anyone who isn't, like, I don't know, a student living with their parents, not getting any income or sources of money because everything's paid for. You can't really make wealth off that if you're not getting given anything. It is good. End of story. Give it a rating 8 out of 10. So, goodbye.